to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. As the New York Giants got their second win on the year and their second win against Washington. Seems like it happens every single year as they narrowly defeat the Washington football team by a final score of 23-20. And to be honest with you, this game shouldn't have been that close. Obviously, things unraveled and changed in the second half, but the New York Giants should have probably won this by a lot more than they did. Washington did everything to hand the New York Giants this football game, and in the end, the Giants did what they were supposed to do based off of that. They got a win. Was it as easy as it should have been? No. Was it as pretty as it should have been? No. New York Giants, I continue to say it, they're still learning how to win. They're still learning how to grow. They're a bad football team that finds ways to lose games, and they almost did it in this game. So I'm not going to say it was a monumental win, but they did what they were supposed to. In the first half, they were absolutely terrific, and we'll go over all the pros and the cons in this game. But soak it in, New York Giants fans, and as crazy as it sounds, you've got a game coming up against Philadelphia this week. If you find a way to win it, you'd be tied with them in terms of wins in the division. Of course, they'd still have the lead, but the Eagles' schedule going forward after that is absolutely brutal. So if the Giants could find a way to get a win there, they're kind of in the race for this division, and right now, looking at it, with how bad Dallas is with the quarterback situation and everything else, and how we beat up on Washington, I would say the biggest threat to the Eagles potentially winning that division is, in fact, the New York Giants. And if the Eagles beat the Giants next week, well, I would think they have, this division pretty much locked up. So we'll see if the New York Giants could put up some kind of a fight. But talking about this game, the New York Giants did what I've been asking them to do for weeks. They went out there, they tried to establish the run. They ran for, I think, 130 yards or so in the first half. In the second half, it kind of got away from them. They weren't able to run the ball. They didn't really seem to stay committed to the run. The Giants had 24 more plays in this game than Washington did. They possessed the ball, I think, for 13 more minutes. They dominated them where it mattered. In the turnover battle, it was 5-0. Yet the New York Giants found ways to keep Washington in this football game. Like I said, at the half, it was terrific. They were smart on offense. They weren't turning the football over. Daniel Jones was making plays when they needed to be made. Let's talk about Austin Mack. And like I said in my halftime video, I love that there were design plays to get Daniel Jones out in space. Austin Mack played terrific in this game. I don't have the stats in front of me, but the guy made plays when they needed to be made. He had 3 or 4 catches. I think he had 75 yards in the air. He made a couple of terrific catches. Shepard had a couple of nice catches. Evan Ingram was pitiful in both halves. He dropped the ball that was nearly intercepted in the first half, and in the second half, he dropped the ball that had he caught it, the Giants would have been in field goal range, and it would have completely changed the complete game. Of course, the New York Giants were able to hold on and win, but Evan Ingram had a couple of costly drops, which almost cost the Giants this football game. The offensive line, I've said it since, week 4, midway through that game against the Rams. It's gotten better and better and better every week. And in this game, you continue to see the New York Giants get a run push. Once again, they were over 100 yards on the ground, 130 in the first half. And they were doing with all different running backs. Wayne Gallman continues to run hard. Alfred Morris had a couple of really nice runs there in that second half that was kind of reminiscent of Brandon Jacobs, the way that he was able to, lay the boom on some of those runs. Even Deion Lewis had a couple of nice runs. So the Giants' offense in general, I thought had an overall a very good game. The first half, they were terrific, though. The second half, they only put 3 points on the board, and they couldn't get any sustainability. But a big reason for that was our defense couldn't get off the field. Washington was getting big play after big play after big play. But when it mattered most, the New York Giants were able to create 2 turnovers, and that is how you win football games. I want to talk about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones going into this game throughout his entire career only had 1 game in which he had no turnovers in a contest. Well, today, he doubled down. He got his second game in his career without a turnover. Now, he definitely had a couple of close calls, but he didn't lose the fumbles. He did not have a turnover in this game, and that is a major reason why we won this game. There was a play where the Giants, it was late in the game, they missed a block on Daniel Jones' blind side. Most of the time, especially last year, Daniel Jones fumbles that football. Daniel Jones was able to hold on to the football after he took the hit, and that might have been the biggest play in this game. Because if he fumbles that ball, Washington might pick that up and run it in for 6, and the Giants probably lose this football game if he fumbles that football. So he was able to hold on. It's the little things. There was another play. I talked about it on Twitter today. Joe Judge, you could see the coaching. you could see the difference that he makes out there, and it didn't result in anything, but there was a fourth down play, I think at like the 40-yard line, and Judge ran the offense back out there knowing that he was going to punt the football, and he quickly shifted to the special teams unit to try to catch Washington off guard and get too many men on the field, and they narrowly almost got it. They were this close to getting a quick 5-yard penalty, which would have resulted in a first down. In addition to that, on that same drive, you started to see a little bit of growth from Daniel Jones. There was a fourth down play where he was able to get them off sides on a hard count, which was a huge conversion. But then, of course, like I said, Evan Ingram dropped the ball. Overall, Daniel Jones did what I want him to do. This is the type of quarterback that I think, at least with this team right now currently constructed, we need. A guy that doesn't make too many mistakes, a guy that moves the chains when you need them to be moved, and a guy that converts in touchdowns in the red zone, which is exactly what he did. We were 2 for 2 in the red zone today with 2 touchdowns. Graham Gano continues to do what he does this year. I think he's 18 or 19 for 19 on the year. Regardless, he had 2 big field goals. And, I go back to last year. There was at least 2 games last year that our field goal kicker cost us games. Well, today you got a joint effort from the entire team. Was it perfect? No. Were there times in the game where the offense was bad? Yeah. Were there times in the game where the defense was bad when they were letting up big plays to Alex Smith to let Washington get back into the game? Yes. But overall, special teams, offense, defense, they all contributed to get a W, and that's all you could ask for. The Giants, like I said on defense throughout this game, were ultra aggressive. They were sending blitzes off the edge. You saw Yadam, by the way, was horrible. Yadam had a horrible missed tackle on that huge play by Washington, down the stretch, which kept them in this football game. That is good. I'm going to continue to say this. That may be the biggest need for this football team going into next season. Because right now, we don't have a credible second cornerback, and in a defense like this, you need strong cornerback play. But overall, I thought you got a great effort from most of the players on this football team, and they found a way to get it done. Like I said, Austin Mack, I'm going to give him the game ball. They left Golden Tate at home. That was a big storyline coming in. A lot of people said, oh, you can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Golden Tate stayed home. Austin Mack produced probably more yards than Golden Tate's produced in any game this year, and the Giants found a way to win a football game, and Austin Mack had a lot to do with it. The Giants made a lot of tight catches, too, in tight windows, I thought, throughout this game. Overall, I thought it was a good performance. Again, not perfect. It was a game I expected to win. Maybe you didn't. Washington was favored by 3, but I thought going in we were a better team. The offensive line overall had a great football game. Yeah, Shane Lemieux had a couple of penalties, or at least one, missed a couple of blocks, but overall I thought we got a great effort from the offensive line, which resulted in big holes for the running game and resulted in opportunities for Daniel Jones to stretch the field. Garrett, again, I thought continued to show some innovation. Maybe they could have been a little bit more aggressive in the second half, but Evan Ingram drops that pass. I mean, again, the lack of execution, I think, makes the offense look worse than it really is. Overall, Giants fans, you got to be ecstatic with this W. Congratulations. We all deserve it. I'm happy that we got 2 wins on the year, and now we're headed to Philadelphia for a game that I'm juiced up for. Because if we can win that game, you get the monkey off the back, and all of a sudden you're in the thick of it in the divisional race, then you head over to Cincinnati. And it's a game in which the New York Giants can win. We know this. We had an 11-point lead on the Philadelphia Eagles with 5 minutes to play, and we found a way to lose it. Now, am I going to be confident going in? No, because the New York Giants continue to show you, no matter how big of a lead they have, you can't trust this team to hold on to football games. But one thing I'll say, Daniel Jones did not beat himself this week, and at least that is a big step in the right direction. As always, guys, if you like what you watch, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.